ready for two wild guys throwing out spicy ideals on fantasy football. Welcome back to the Dynasty Football Maniacs. Trust at your own risk.
So today's subject, we're going to cover running backs, our top running backs for 2025. This will also include the rookie running backs that were drafted. So me and Austin broke down two lists. Bring that list over here so I'm reading it in front of the camera, not to the side of my head. So looking at our tiering list, I can tell you guys, the beginning part is not going to be much of a conversation. We haven't changed much from when we did our last previous rankings to now. Him and me believe are the same players in tier one. Order might be a little different, but at the end of the day, we got Bijan Robinson, Jamar Gibbs, and Barkley in tier one. The way Austin ranked it, he had Bijan, Jamar, and Barkley. I had Bijan, Barkley, and Jamar. Give or take. At the end of the day, they're all three in tier one. So that's our tier one for running backs going into the 2025 football season for fantasy. Tier two, this is where some of the conversation is going to happen. We're a little different. You have one more player than I have. So my rankings is Ashton Jenney, Bucky Irvin, Brees Hall, Devon A-Chain, and Jonathan Taylor. I do not include Omarion Hampton in there, and the reason why is for fantasy related. I don't think he's a tier two. I think he's a tier three. He's with the rest of the rookies. He's playing with Najee Harris. You're not going to get the fantasy value as we've seen with Jamar Gibbs. I just don't see it. That's why I couldn't put him in a tier two for me. I mean, I understand his stats. Yeah, I understand he's a good back, but got another good back in the room that ain't depleted. And I just don't see that.
Najee, he's gonna get beat for the job.
Well, I mean, I guarantee, yeah, in time, but
And
right now I believe they'll share. That's just how hardball plays.
yeah, they'll probably share to the point where Omarion Hampton is gonna demand more touches, and that's what they're gonna give him. And he's also a little bit, he's also pretty good out in the passing game too. So I mean, the way that they want to run the ball and the way they set it up, I mean, it's gonna be pretty good. Be put in. I mean, the reason why I got him in tier two is because they're gonna use him a lot. They'll use Najee too, but right now they got him starting. That on the depth charts, they got him as the starting running back, and they're gonna rotate him in with Najee. But I think Marion Hampton is gonna get the majority of the work. And I mean, it's with the Chargers. I mean, they're gonna run the ball. They want to run the ball a lot. They couldn't do it last year because of the running game was a little iffy on some points, so they just had to start throwing the ball a lot with Justin Herbert. So I believe that with the way they got the draft going and the free agent signings, I think they want to actually be kind of balanced. But they're going to use Marion Hampton a lot, and that's the reason why I have him as tier two.
I still don't think he's tier two worthy. I don't think I understand he's a good running back. I'm not disagreeing with that. It's just as point wise, I just don't think he's going to finish in the top 10. I don't think
I
he will.
do. I think he will.
You think he will?
Yep.
Well,
I am 90% guaranteeing it.
we're going to have to compromise because later on we're going to have bigger discussions, and I think this is a simple compromise. I think we're just going to slip him in the top of tier three, let that one ride, and then just make a note that Austin believes that Omarion Hampton, and I'm going to make a note of this in the show.
Do it. I want
that
you to.
We're going to make a note because I got a note I'm going to make before the end of the show, and I'm going to get people excited. I'm going to get people really excited. They're going to say, wow, that is deep, because we have just begun this show, and I'm telling you, something's coming up in this show that's going to You're gonna be like, no. And I'll be like, yeah, I guarantee you at the end of the day, that's how things are gonna roll. All right. So
Mhm.
for tier 2, as I said, and let's explain why we got these up there, because a lot of people are saying, well, Brace Hall fell off a little bit last year. Not really, but he did. But I think we're going to see a different jet. Jonathan Taylor, I think he is going to pick up his game a little bit. We know Devon A-Chain's probably going to lead the back to the room in Miami unless some injury happens. And Ashton Jitney, even though they did pick up another running back at the Raiders, he's still going to lead the room. That's who he is. And then I honestly believe Bucky Irving is probably the top running back where he's at. So I don't disagree with that. Do you?
No, I'm all in agreement.
So let's look at something before we move on. I have it all brought up. I don't know why I'm saying I got to bring it up. It's right here. So I'm looking at last year. Devon, he pretty much led the room last year in Miami. I mean, he was ranked number 5 running back. So right now, Austin is saying that Omar is going to finish in the top 10. That means he would have to score more than 255 fantasy points for last year. And that was the top 10 guy, which was Chase Brown. The ones that are all in the top 10, none of them shared a back room, really. So it'd be interesting. Well, I don't know. James Cook didn't really share a back room with Ray Davis. The only time Ray Davis stepped in is like when he was hurt, right? I mean,
Well, in the goal line too, because for some reason the Bills didn't really use James Cook in the
yeah.
goal line, so that's about the only time Ray Davis got shown in.
And then Bucky Irvin pretty much handled the back room in Tampa. He come
Yeah,
in.
you still have to. I know he took over the back room, but you still have to keep an eye on Rashad White. He's still going to eat in some of that
Oh yeah,
uh,
definitely.
opportunity.
Yeah, he's not done. He's not done at all.
And don't forget, you know, they've been squeezing in a little bit of Sean Tucker in there in that backfield too every now and then. And so
Yeah, they did. Because you
we
look at it, talking about Rashad White, he finished 22 overall.
right.
So, I mean, he did not finish far from Bucky Irvin. It was 13 and 22. So, in the top 25, you had 2 Tampa Bay running backs. The only ones that had a better showing than that as a dual running back, well, no, yeah, David Montgomery and Jamar Gibbs. Jamar Gibbs was number 1. He ended up beating out Barkley just a little bit there. And David Montgomery was number 18. So, they finished in the top 20. Najee Harris finished 20. Jalen Warren, he was a little bit below him. So, yeah, I mean, that is definitely a good. And Brees Hall, I mean, respectively, he finished 16 last year. So that's still a good finishing spot for Brees Hall. I really think we're going to see a lot out of Brees Hall this year. I think we're going to see a different offense
At
than
this
we've seen it.
point, we need to see a lot of Brees Hall because it is his contract year.
And
So if he,
that's when they shine.
if he's gonna get a big bag, he needs to do it this year.
That is some truth to that. So, yeah. All right. So that's simple enough. And I already conceded, even though I was going to put Almir actually in tier 5. No, I'm just kidding. I'm never going to put him in tier 5.
Mm.
That was harsh. Oh, man. We're going to release our top 5 rookie running back today, too. So you guys are definitely going to get that information, especially if you guys are doing a rookie draft. That'll help you out knowing where me and Austin are on our rankings. We're slightly different, but we're almost the same. I have one guy in that he doesn't have in. So we're each missing one from the group. So we added an extra running back there. So that'd be interesting when we get to that subject. So starting off with old Omarion Hampton. Oh, I couldn't get that out. The next one, I think we're pretty much in agreement. Yeah. So after you add him to the room, me and Austin are back on the same page. No disagreement in moving on because we both have James Cook, Chase Brown, Karen Williams, Josh Jacob, TreVeyon Henderson, and Quishon Junkin. So that rounds out our tier 3. I think more of our discussions is in the later tiers.
Oh
We
yeah.
were pretty cut dry on the first. I mean, not too far off from each other. Our order might be a little different. Like I had mine ranked out different than he did. This time we actually kind of ranked them side by side. I don't know if I'll release that. I'll probably show it real quick. Like, nip it, put it in the show so you guys can see the two side by side. They're pretty well similar. Maybe the order's out a little different. Like I have players ranked higher than other. And you'll know that when we get to the rookie, because really in my world, Omar is the end of tier 3.
Oh my
That's
god.
my world. I do have Quinshon Judkins and TreVeyon Henderson ahead of him, and my reasoning is pretty good.
That's definitely your world.
So I mean, let me see, who did I miss here? I got 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see. There's 5. It can be 5. Chase Brown is missing. Thank you, sir. You picked up on it. I was like, who am I missing? Who have I not named yet? You're right. Chase Brown needs to be on that list. He needs to go right there. My mouse is being funny. It's like, ooh, see it 1 minute, don't see it the next minute. All right. So yeah, Chase Brown will jump right in that spot. So yes, I do agree with that. But yeah, as I was saying, this is my my outtake. This is my surprise to the world. TreVeyon Henderson is the back to get. If you're going to get a back and you're not picking at the 101 and you're picking between the 102 and the 105 and he's on your pick, you should pick him before any other back after Jet. And why I say that is he will come out on fire this year and next year. I guarantee you, and yes, I'm going to be bolder than you and Omer. He will be in the top 10, guaranteed. There is no doubt that he won't be. So,
well, you made the argument for Amara sharing the backfield with Najee. I'm going to make the argument with TreVeyon Henderson sharing the backfield with Ramondre Stevenson.
He'll be secondary.
Right now on the depth chart, they have Ramondre Stevenson ahead of TreVeyon Henderson.
Yeah, I don't think it.
So if he's going to do as great as you say he is, he's going to have to outbeat Ramondre Stevenson. Now, Quinshon, I can understand because he's automatically got the starting job. He's listed as the depth chart as the first string right now with the Browns. So if you would have went with Quinshon, I probably would agree with you a little bit more. But TreVeyon, he's got to outbeat Ramondre, and Ramondre is still a pretty decent running back.
All right, but okay, that's your take. But my take is that that's going to happen.
Okay.
You like it, don't you?
No, I don't. But that's your take.
All right, we'll see. So, all right, so we made 2 notes in here.
Oh, okay. I'll make a bet with you.
All right.
I bet you Omarion Hampton this year finishes better than TreVeyon Henderson does.
All right, what are we betting?
I don't care what we bet. It doesn't matter to me. We can bet Coke or something. It doesn't matter.
All right, let's do a Coke.
Okay.
Coke it is. And if you got a betting
Works for
problem,
me.
there's 800 numbers you can call. and we do not condone gambling on this show.
That's the reason why we went with a Coke. So
yeah,
that's about the worst of it at the moment.
Oh yeah, I'm getting a free Coke, baby. I'm getting a free Coke.
Yeah, maybe in your dreams.
Oh no, I'll be drinking that. I'll be drinking that Coke, telling you that next year he'll be in your tier 1, maybe your tier 2 as a running back.
Yeah, he'll be ranked right behind Omarion.
I don't think he will be. I think he'll be right ahead of Omar, and Omar will be a few tiers back trying to catch up to Najee Harris.
I doubt it. As a matter of fact, RJ Harvey is going to finish better than him.
Ooh, that's hard. All right. we went too far with this conversation at this point. I'm offended. So I'm doing this copying thing because I don't think we have a disagreement other than the order for tier 4. So we don't have to go in the pet peeve of who goes first and who goes second.
Yeah, we ain't got to do that.
Because at the end of the day, all these guys are tier 4 running back. I kind of fought with one because actually I was going to put this guy ahead of Omar. Then when I looked at the stats, I was like, okay, I done hit my head too hard. It could happen, but it's not going to happen, I don't think. But that's me just shooting, like he thought I was really shooting off from the hip with Henderson, which I am. It's true. He is going to be that good.
Okay.
But I think I'm probably overgunning it when I try to put Kaleb Johnson ahead of him. So I got Kaleb Johnson headed into tier 4 now. I don't quite have him leading tier 4 because I can't see to put him ahead of Kenneth Walker, Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey. But right after that is where I got Caleb. Where you have Caleb down a little bit lower, you have RJ Harvey up higher. We both got Chubb Herbert in the same spot, 20. Alvin Kamara, I got him 23. You got him 21. You got David Montgomery at 24. I got Joe Mixon at 22. Yeah, so we're pretty much the same on everything.
I got Kamara at 23. Kaleb Johnson, I got as 21.
Yeah, it's
So,
me that has. It's me that
oh,
has.
yeah, okay,
Alvin
yeah.
Kamara at 21.
I got you.
So let me read this off, guys. Let's understand where we're at on our tiers. We got a great running back room coming out. I mean, today we were sitting there talking at work about the running backs that were drafted, and I could almost count 9 on my hand that could actually possibly just blow up and become great starters. That's just crazy. I mean, because a lot of people don't realize that there is actually a good running back class coming out this year. But right now, we're not talking about all them. We're going to focus on the 5 each, which actually will give you guys more than 5 because in my 5, I have one that Austin don't have, and Austin in his 5 has one I don't have. So we're going to give you a little chunk of just running backs who we think are the top 5, and we got them in order. So I'll read that off towards the end of the show. So stay tuned. Don't run away yet. So right now, let's just read off what we got for tier 4. We got Kenneth Walker, the third. I debated with this because really, I think Zach Charbonnet should be ahead. He did lead better last year. He finished better than Kenneth Walker last year. But also, I'm not finished. I also take in consideration Kenneth Walker was hurt. So with that being said, if he goes healthy, do I think he's going to lead the back room? No, I think Kenneth Walker. So that's why I went ahead and maintained. I know earlier in the season I had him flop. I went ahead and reversed it back, putting Kenneth Walker back where he belonged. For the fact is yeah, if he goes healthy, he runs the ball, he's going to lead the field. But if he continues his trend as he has the last couple of years, where he has to sit out a few games, I think Zach will lead the room again. But the only time Zach leads is when Kenneth is out. So when Kenneth is back, we know where Zach goes. So that's why I have Kenneth Walker in the tier 4 at 16 versus Zach Charbonnet in tier 4. I got him down a little bit further because technically he is the backup. That's where I was going with that. Does that make any sense?
That makes a lot better sense now.
Okay. I know what you're going to say. It's like,
you about had me hot and bothered there for a minute.
I know I did. I had to clear that up.
Okay. Well, you did a good job on it. So I agree with you on that point because if Kenneth Walker is healthy, they love Kenneth Walker and they use him majority of the time. But if he's ever, kind of dinged up or hurt and misses a couple games, then Zach gets a lot of his work in it when Kenneth Walker is done. But if they're both healthy, they'll use Kenneth Walker a lot more. But so yeah, I definitely agree with you.
All right. So in tier 4, we got Kenneth Walker, Derrick Henry's still Derrick Henry. I know the age is up there. Yes, he's going to falter off. Yes, we got Christian McCaffrey in there because if he plays, he ain't showed anything different yet. And you've seen the magic that came off of that guy every time he plays when he comes back from injury. I
It's
honestly
just
think we're going to see the end of him. I honestly believe it's that time. I think if not this year, definitely next year. I'll
it's
be
just the
amazed if he makes
right,
it.
right. It's just the injuries, man. The injuries kill me, and the injuries. All of those injuries are just gonna catch up with him eventually, and he's not getting any younger, and he stayed hurt most of the year. I mean, he did come back and play a little bit, but I mean, he was mostly hurt.
Did you see that
So,
meme where he lined up in a wheelchair?
yeah, I seen that. I also seen the one where he was in the nursing home too. So, but but I mean, we're already seeing signs of his body not being like, and I get it. Some people argue, it's like, well, he's in great physical shape. He's looking amazing. I was like, yes, and he does look amazing, and he looks like in
Yeah.
physical shape every year. But we're starting to get to the point where we have more, uh, him being injured years than healthy years. We're getting to that point. If we have another injured riddled year like we did, eventually it's going to be where he had more injured years than healthy years.
That's true. But I
And I,
honestly think this is, and the good thing about him in fantasy was back in the day, even though he was injured most of the season, he played a few games. Like he played 7 games through the season, or 8 games. And when he played them games, it didn't matter what day he started. He didn't have to have that warm up period like some people do when they come back from injury. He immediately went out and put up 28 points or 30 points. And then you're like, what? You're like, why? Other guys, like some of the other running backs that come back from injury, it's like they're a warm up to get there. Some come right off the thing and knock it out, but not all the time, where he did it all the time. And then when he had a successful season, we all know what happened. He finished in the top 3 or top 1. Hence, he was for the longest time running as one of the number one. He was usually the 101 almost, what, 3 or 4 consecutive years in a row.
yeah, and now everybody is starting to get fatigued with him,
Yep.
and he's starting to drop in startup drafts and stuff, and age is now also playing a big factor into this.
Yeah,
So
as a dynasty value, he's not worth it. If you're doing a
no,
startup draft right now, Christian McCaffrey is not who you want to draft in your draft. If you're doing a startup, I would on a redraft maybe. Yes, I'd pick up Christian McCaffrey.
well, I'll take a chance on him in a redraft.
Yeah, but not on a startup.
No,
If I was doing a fresh
definitely.
startup right now, I would pass and grab another running back than Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey would fall in the draft that I'm in.
Well, they can
So,
grab anybody on this list and not have to worry about Christian McCaffrey that's ahead of them.
oh yeah, definitely. So now we're going into tier 5. And we're pretty much on the same page up to a point, and we do have a little disagreement here. We'll hash it out when I get to that point, but I'm gonna just start naming off the ones we do have that we do. Both of us now, yes, we do have both of the Giants running backs in tier 5. And let me tell you guys, Cam Scatterboo, I like the guy. I like I like the rawness of him. I like the power of him. I like everything I've seen about him. Before that Arizona State game in the playoffs, I had no clue who this guy was, really. I didn't really pay that much attention. But that right there, that game right there, that toughness. After that, I started watching old film, and I was like, wow, wow, and wow. So I'm not saying he's going to beat Tyrone Tracy out. But honestly, I think as a third down back, as like an end zone guy getting in, I think this is going to be the touchdown guy. And they're going to throw him in all kinds of plays.
They're
And he plays
gonna
with such a toughness and grit. At the end of the day, as long as he stays healthy, I think he's going to handle himself just fine in the NFL. That's
so
just
this
my opinion.
so this kind of reminds me of when Sean Payton got Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, Mark Ingram is basically I'm not, and when I say this, don't don't think I'm comparing them to, but it's just similarity. So don't think I'm comparing them to these
Oh,
guys.
you are. Everybody is. No, I'm just kidding.
But Tyrone Tracy kind of reminds me, he's like the bigger back, kind of like a Mark Ingram, the bruiser and stuff. But Cam
Yeah.
Scatterbo kind of reminds me of an Alvin Kamara who is going to go, he can run, but he's also going to be out there, catching the ball and, being very big in the pass game on like third downs and stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see how this Giants backfield works this coming year. As unfortunately, we're in the same division as the Giants, and I'd like to see them fail. I at least want to see them do good in fantasy, at least.
Well, that's good. And that's what I want to see. I'm more for the fantasy players now than the team. I've always been an Eagles fan and still love my Eagles. When my Eagles do well, I'm there to root them on. And I root them on every weekend anyways. I don't ever like so when I got a fantasy guy on the other side of the field, I'm secretly rooting that guy on. I mean, if he's playing on the opposite team, I'm like, I can't. I'm out to win. I'm competitive, and I'm just like, I know it's fake. I know it ain't real, but in my eyes, what I'm doing,
Now it's real in our
yeah,
hearts, brother. What are you talking
yeah,
about?
yeah,
All of this is real. Let's stop lying.
yeah, it is because I take it intense. Like I'm like, I gotta win. So it's like if I got a guy that's playing for the opposite team, I want him to get his high score. I don't care if the rest of the team fails. But the Eagles, on the other hand, they still have to win. They got to figure out how to get higher than the other guy. That's all. That's all. And I think they're doing a great job of it. So, with that being said, I'm going to leave the last two alone until I read all the rest of these off, and then we'll talk about the two that I. So I have one in tier 5 that Austin don't have, and Austin has one in tier 5 that I don't have. So we do have a conversation piece in tier 5, and everybody goes, "Why would you conversate about tier 5?" Tier 5 matters. Everything matters in a draft,
I
especially
mean,
a startup draft that you got 30 some rounds you're in for Dynasty. Yeah, it matters because right now, with what players we're fixing to name, that totals 32 players, right? So that's a lot of running back.
well, I mean,
Um,
some of the tier 5 people are still starting running backs.
yeah, they're RB1s. So, with that being said, we got Tyrone Tracy Jr. Uh, like I said, we got Cam Scatterbo in there. Then we got Andre Swift, Isaiah Pacheco, Tony Pollard, Brian Robinson Jr., James Conner, and Trey Benson. Now, yes, they play on the same team, but we got to think James Conner, when he's injured, Trey's going to step in. There's a chance. There's a chance
It's any moment now.
any moment. So,
Any moment.
it's just like the Zach Charbonnet with Kenneth Walker. So,
Hmm.
and Zach has done showed himself like he can handle it when he needs to do it. So that goes into our next two players after that. Are we going to leave one of them in the tier 5? Or are we going to leave both of them in tier 5 and just move on to tier 6? It depends because the funny thing is both of these players that I name is in our tier 6. So it's like we'll make a decision. So I got you have Tootin and I have Najee Harris. So that's the difference. So I mean, I just cannot take Najee Harris out of tier 5 yet because he's still RB1. And I'm not really sure about the Tootin. I mean, yeah. So tell me why
Well,
you put
okay.
him in tier 5. That's what I need to know. Why do you have him in
Okay.
tier?
Well, I'll tell you why. It's
All right.
because this new regime in Jacksonville are not very high on Travis Etienne, from what I'm starting to gather. Uh, and they're talking about so it's right now Travis Etienne is literally on his last year on his rookie deal. They had not, they not talked about extensions or anything, and so there's a good possibility chance that Jacksonville is probably, they might move on from Travis Etienne from them. And plus, remind me, if you can remind me, or if we can look it up, we will. But what round was Tootin uh drafted in? Do you remember?
Oh yeah, I have it right here on our recap.
Okay.
So let me pull my recap up. Make it real easy. It's probably easy just to Google it. Quicker than pulling up
No,
the
I
recap.
mean,
Oh, let's hold on. So I have his name right here. Fourth pick. Which is fourth round, second pick. Tank Bisbee was
he
pulled
was a
in.
third.
Yeah, he was a
He was
third
a third
rounder.
rounder.
Yeah, so
So
yeah, he
right
was picked
right
at
now,
88.
there's not a lot of positive vibes for Travis Etienne right now, and
Yeah, but I don't
and
think
all
he'll beat
and
out Tank.
all. Well, that might be true, but at the same time, they chose this running back for a reason. They didn't choose ETN. They didn't choose Tank Bigsby. They drafted this guy. I'm not saying that he's going to go automatically go out there and take over, but at the same time, Travis Etienne has also been dealing with minor injuries here and there that has also kept him out on some of the games, kind of like Kenneth Walker. And Tank, he's had opportunities, but I mean, he ain't really actually just went out there and just bona fidely just be like, this is mine. So either way, he might not beat out Tank Bixby, but even so, I still think he's gonna get some work in, and
Well, I mean, he
it,
could.
I think it's gonna be enough to where it's at least in a tier 5 spot
All right. Well,
because of the
so
work he gets in.
all right, I could digress because after I'm looking at their college stats, looking at the two players, I mean they're the same side of the coin. Their stats are almost identical. Tank Bisbee and Putin are like almost identical. I mean, they're not too far off from each other. Uh, the only difference is it looks like Tootin was redshirted a little bit longer than Tank. Tank played the sophomore, junior year. Then he went into the draft, and Tootin played his senior year, and then went into draft. But looking at the stats, I mean, they both each had 1,000 yard season, and they both had an 800. And Tank has one more year than he did on the field. So yeah, he's going to have 900 more yards than him, and that's the year he did 970. So yeah, at the end of the day, it's a toss up. So now I can see your argument with putting him at a tier 5. I'm fine with that. I mean, because at the end of the day, I didn't realize there was that going to be that much competition. Because yeah, really after the third round, it doesn't matter where you're drafted. You can be drafted fifth or third. It doesn't matter. It doesn't.
Right.
Tyreek Hill was a fifth rounder. I mean,
I mean, it
there's not
happens
much to
all the
say.
time.
Now, if you're drafted in the first or second round, they're coming after you for a reason. I think at them 2 rounds, that's your star. Anything after that is like, hey, I got you. You could
It's
possibly get a spot.
competition.
Yeah, it's a competition, but you might have a spot. And the higher you're up, the greater your chances are. But it's really up to you as a player if you put yourself in that position. Because you could be a draft pick 3 and totally flop. You could be a draft pick 1 and flop. And guess what? We've seen it. We've seen it so many times. We see it every year. Not everybody that's drafted in the first round becomes stars. I mean, I wish it would happen that way. It would be nice, but it doesn't. There's always going to be these onesies and twosies, and maybe most of them are not going to succeed, and some of them are only going to have an NFL career of 2 to 3 years if they're lucky. And then you're going to get these greatness out of it, and you're going to remember them for a long time to come. I mean, it, it is really up to the player what they do and the circumstances they get put in. So yeah, okay, I'm with you. I'm gonna put him in the. I am gonna put him in tier 5. See, that was easy to convince me. Now we're on Najee Harris. So what's your argument not to keep him in tier 5? What do you believe that I don't believe?
I mean, we literally just had a whole discussion about it.
I know we did. So I'm not going to argue
So
with
I
you.
mean, I
I
mean,
will I will digress, and I will put him in tier 6 as a lead. Because honestly, you do have an
that's,
argument with Omarion Hampton. There is a possibility that that could flop and be that story. So
that's
that
right
goes into
now, right? So right now, and the only reason why, I mean, and it could change. We don't know how they're going to use them, honestly, but we are just going by, the feeling and what everyone's talking about. So it could change, but that's the only reason why. It's literally the same arguments that we had. So
yeah, that makes me scratch my head. Why do we both have Travis Etienne in tier 6? When honestly, we both believe Tank Bigsby and the other guy's going to roll over him.
well, it's literally the argument that I just said a while ago for Tootin.
Yeah,
The new regime in Jacksonville is not as high on Travis Etienne like the prior coaching staffs before them. They're really not that high. That's the reason why they were like, we traded up to get Travis Hunter, so we're not gonna totally skip it. So we're gonna at least pick somebody in the fourth round and
right.
have a competition with, because if they believed in Travis Etienne along with Tank Bixby, in my honest opinion, they if they were gonna draft a running back, it would have been in round 6 and 7, and it would just be a guy to think, oh, there's a body just in case.
Yeah, I can see that. So really, after that, we don't have an argument for tier 6. I mean, after you lead it off with Najee Harris, you and me are in total agreement with the next 4 players. So we have Travis Etienne Jr., which he's in competition with Tootin and Tank Bigsby, which we're going to mention in a little bit. Uh, Jalen Warren, Pittsburgh still, but he's going to be behind Kaleb Johnson. I think Kaleb Johnson's going to end up winning that room. Ramon Stevenson. I also think Ramon Stevenson will take second tier to TreVeyon Henderson. And then Aaron Jones Jr., he's always in Aaron Jones. And he's on his. If I'm in a dynasty at this point in time, I'll be holding on to Aaron Jones, but there'll be a point in time where I got to think, okay, I need to trade him away and get something better. Why he's still valuable. I believe he's going to be just like Dalvin Cook and the rest of them. As soon as he becomes unvaluable, like not valuable anymore, it's going to happen so quick that a lot of us ain't going to have time to react in Dynasty. I believe that's starting to happen with running back. I mean, it's like the teams are calling it before we think they're ready to go. Because, I mean, Dalvin Cook had 1,000 yards consecutively, and then the next year, he didn't play at all. So it doesn't matter if you put up 1,000 yards in a year. It could be your last year. If you're traded for whatever reason, you go to another team, you're not going to win that starting job because you're playing behind other players, and then you lose a whole year, and then you try to come back, you lose that step, and you're already going out, you're losing a step as it is. So, yeah, I mean, it to me, that what it used to be like is like you could pretty much, like, I think you could still prejudge of like right now, I'm saying we know Najee Harris and Derrick Henry and all these guys, they're on their last couple of years. So it doesn't, we don't know when it's going to happen, but it's coming soon. I mean, running back takes a lot more punishment, I believe, than a lot of the other positions. So for a player to survive over 30, pretty impressive. And the ones that are over 30, most of them either been sitting on the bench for a while and then get an opportunity to play, and they have their little spike and they do really well, and then they get that injury and they slowly dwindle away, and then it just age itself takes advantage. But
Yeah, I
so
agree.
now we go into tier 7. So we both agree on Rashad White. He's still got a little kick. He's still there. He ain't done. Now he's another one that's slowly starting to, like, is it time? The next one we both agree on is Tank Bisbee, and we both have him in our tier 7. I'm gonna go ahead and add him to the list. I'm only going to name the ones we agree on, and then we'll talk about these other ones as we
Right.
go. Then you have Javonte Williams, which I have Javonte Williams. Really, everybody you have in your tier 7, I have in my tier 7. So I'm the only one that has extra. So you went 45, I ranked mine 50. So I put 50 guys there. Wait. No, we do have something. Nope. I have Jordan Mason. I think Jordan Mason's going to be especially good this year at Minnesota.
I got Jordan Mason on mine as well.
Yep. That's why I said you had him.
Okay.
And Blake
Gotcha.
Corum, actually, I debated about putting Blake Corum in my tier 7, but I ended up adding him because really I don't think he's going to be that significant, and he's not going to play that big of a role. But who I did have beyond that is I had Jaden Blue, Ray Davis, Devin Neal, Audric Estem, and J.K. Dobbins. Yes, J.K. Dobbins still free agency. J.K. Dobbins finished in the top 20. He's going to find a team. The team's going to find him if he's healthy. I mean, that's the key. I mean, and then it might be a Dalvin Cook. We might never see him again. I mean, we know it's at that stage, but I've not gave up on hope. So I'll understand if you don't want to put him in tier 7. I'm good with that. But I honestly think we need to take a look at Jaden Blue because he has a chance to win that actual room at Dallas.
I'm good. I'm good with the players you named.
Oh, okay.
But I do want to throw in I would like to throw in there Isaac Guerrero
I was sitting there debating him too the whole time.
because he is behind Christian McCaffrey. And anytime Christian McCaffrey gets hurt, he is going to be the next guy up. The only reason why he is this low, in my opinion, is because if Christian McCaffrey is healthy, Isaac Guerrero will hardly ever see the field. But I want to throw him. I would like to throw him at tier 7 just due to the fact that there's still, the chance that if Christian McCaffrey gets hurt, that he will get some playing time.
All right, I got to look him up because I am not very good at spelling his last name.
Guerendo. At least that's what it's telling me on here. 'Cause I got his name pulled up right now. That way I could actually say his dang name.
I don't know what you mean. San Francisco 49ers depth chart. I like ourlads.com, their depth chart. I like how they do that depth chart.
Mm-hmm. I use
They
them
got,
pretty
they got,
often.
but I think what's going to probably see Isaac is tending to get hurt sometimes, but he's good. He's a good back. But what I do like is the guy they picked up in the draft, Jordan James Morgan. So they picked him up in the 5th round. I think if he gets a chance to hit the field, we're going to see some excitement. But I'm not saying put him in a tier 7, but I'm saying as a rookie, if you guys are out there late in your rookie draft and you need to just stash a running back on taxi squad, he'd be a good stash. I think a really good stash because he has an opportunity in that running back room to do something. And my eyesight is gone, so I'm gonna have to put my the print over here is smaller. Oh, I forgot to zoom. Zoom that baby in. GUE. Oh, put too many R's. I say their name wrong. That's not good either. But I definitely don't want to spell their name wrong.
Yeah.
So, and I'm also interested on the backup, Brock Purdy there, which I know they're not going to beat Brock Purdy at. Brock Purdy's the quarterback. They're going to sign a contract. He's going to do his job. They have no reason to really step away from him. But I thought it was interesting they brought Mac Jones there, and they also drafted Curtis Ward from Indiana. So
They're just solidifying the backup, or at least trying to.
I know they are. But the running back room, It's probably see that's what's surprising about San Francisco 49ers. You look at names you never heard of there, and it seems like when one goes down, the next one steps up and doesn't even miss a beat. I've never heard of a wide receiver going down and they don't have a wide receiver. It's like we get a wide receiver we never heard of and he does really great. It's like the Rams too. It's like Rams and the 49ers. It's like they're gifted players. Players like you don't expect to do well and they do well. I mean, we were not talking about who is it I mentioned earlier in here? Let me find him real quick. Yeah, he's not far up. James Conner, Najee Harris. Jordan Mason. So, I mean, Jordan Mason, he was at the 49ers. As soon as he got an opportunity, he just balled. And next thing you know, he's down in Minnesota, and you know he's going to control that room. I mean,
Yeah, he's going to take over eventually.
and right now, Minnesota ain't got a very good running back room, I don't think, compared to what they've had in the past. I mean, I don't think it's ever been the same after Delvin Cook left. It's just
No. I mean, Aaron Jones did have a good year, but it's it's nothing like Dalvin Cook.
But they're never going to bring that back because of the I don't know what to say. Whatever happened. So what's interesting about that, I'm looking at the running backs right now. You got Aaron Jones, then Jordan Mason's his backup, and then Ty Chandler, which he ain't really did. Every time Ty had a chance, he couldn't do it. So, but then they got a few trades, and then they have another guy that's the backup that's going to be on a practice team. Got Xavier. Yeah, so at the end of the day, Jordan Mason has a shot at becoming a good running back, even maybe a running back RB1. So that'd be interesting. And we don't even have to talk about Minnesota's spot receiver. Oh my God. But so at the end of the day, that's a pretty good list right there. I think we should have about 50 some players on that list almost. Oh, we got 40.
Yeah.
Oh, I see who I left out. Yeah. I left out RJ Harvey out of tier 4.
Oh, dang it.
How dirty is that?
That's pretty dirty.
I was sitting there going to talk negative about the guy, but I didn't mean to actually leave him out. So that makes 50 players. Now I feel better. So, yeah, I did have RJ Harvey in my tier 4, just like Austin did. So we both agreed on RJ Harvey. So now, like I said, at the end of the show, I would tell you guys the top 5 running backs each. So looking at this is his order. I'm only reading in your order. I'm not miscuing nothing here. RJ Harvey, number 1. No, just kidding. Ashton Jetney, number 1. Omarion Hampton, number 2. TreVeyon Henderson, number 3. Quinshawn Junkins, number 4. And RJ Harvey, number 5. My list is almost identical, but not. We both agree Ashton Jetney's number 1. Well, my number 2 is TreVeyon Henderson. My number 3 is Quinshawn Junkins. My number 4 is Omarion Hampton. And my number 5 is Kaleb Johnson, Pittsburgh. So I don't have RJ Harvey in my group. But at the end of the day, that's our top 5 running back. As I said before, I will put our tier 7 list on our X page down below. Football Dynasty Maniacs. And then I'll also put this list up there. You can see our 2 top 5s and decide which one. So with that being said, gonna be. We just had a question. We had a person question us. They had a choice. Who would they pick at the 101? Travis Hunter or Ashton Jetney? First, I was like, well, it's an IDP league. I would go with Travis Hunter. But then when I heard about his running back room, I was like, oh, I go ahead and pick your better bet would be Ashton Jetney, which he said he's going to pick Ashton Jetney, which I'm good for him. I hope it's a successful pick and he has a great season. But Austin, on the other hand, he was straight up. Like when I told him about it, he's like, Ashton Jetney all day long. So
Yeah,
Everybody has.
yeah. I
And
mean,
in a way, I kind of see your point. After you kind of like after we had the conversation, I kind of see that now. I think if I'm sitting in the same shoe, I would do the same thing. I think at the end of the day, it'd be too hard to pass up on Ashton Jenney. Yes, I know Travis Hunter is going to be great. And in an IDP league, he's even awesome because now he's a wide receiver and a DB. The one thing that I did notice about this is he is going to be wide receiver 2 to Brian Thompson Jr., Senior, and he was awesome last year as a wide receiver. So I don't think he's going to take that wide receiver 1 spot,
mm,
and I don't think he's going to be the number 1 DB, but he's going to play the ball equally on both sides, and he's going to be worth a lot of points. So, in a fantasy outlook, he should go in an IDP league at least in the top 3.
he
Because
will.
there's no quarterbacks out there that are ahead of him that, other than Cam Ward, if you have a quarterback flex, I would jump on Cam Ward, maybe Dart. But at the end of the day, I don't know. I would rather want. I mean, would I really? I mean, what would you do? Would you take Dart over Travis Hunter, or would you say you're at the 103 and Cam Ward, Nash Denton's over the board? Who would you take at the 103?
No, at that point, I would actually take Travis Hunter.
You would take Travis Hunter then?
Yeah, I'll take Travis Hunter.
You wouldn't take any of the other running backs?
The only other running back I would take, well, I mean, for you, it would definitely be Henderson, but for me, it'd be Hampton. But those are the only two that I would actually go with. But I mean, you have to go with Hunter because he's still going to be a great wide receiver. And they are going to play him on the defensive side. But so far, everything I have read and seen from the Jaguars is they want to use him predominantly and at the wide receiver, but they want to give him a couple of packages and playing DB too. So it also depends on if they're like, we're gonna do 50-50 or if we're gonna do 60-40 or it really just depends on how. And that's so hard with Travis Hunter is because we don't have a grip and we don't actually know what they're gonna do.
That is true. We don't. But now let's look at their college career. So Travis Hunter, he had a pretty decent year with Colorado. Well, he had a good year altogether, right? So we're going
And
to
the
click on
Heisman,
that.
so
Yeah. So I mean, for cornerback, he did really well. Receiving, he had 96 receptions, 1,258 yards. He had 15 touchdowns. The average gain was 96.8 yards a game. Um, he even did a little. Let's not even talk about his rushing. It was only like a couple of yards, not even a handful. So total yards of scrimmage is pretty impressive. And then the cornerback part of it, he did well too. Then we look at there's his defensive stuff. I was looking for his defensive stuff. So 25 tackles. Yeah, he was more impressive as a wide receiver. He did good as a DB. He had 4 interceptions, 1 tackle for loss. Uh, yeah, so I mean, solo tackles 25, 1 forced fumble. Always like that. So he had an impressive season. And then we go over here. We look at Brian Thomas. We're going to look at his college year and then his NFL year, first year. I felt brain. I'm sorry.
mine in college, Brian Thomas was also playing with Malik Neighbors. I said, I don't know about still in the room, but because Brian Thomas finished as the number 4 wide receiver last year.
That is true. So it'd be interesting.
He's going to make a big impact, though. I'll guarantee it.
So do you think it's going to affect his positioning next year as a wide receiver? Do you think he's still going to finish in the top 5, or is he going to finish lower now he's sharing the room with Travis Hunt?
I think he's going to finish in the top 10, but ultimately it's just going to come down to how often, like how predominantly in the wide receiver department are they going to use Travis Hunter? Because once again, it's one of those things. Are they doing 50-50 or are they doing 60-40?
Yeah.
It's one of them things.
I think
Uh,
we might want to save this for the wide receiver discussion. I'm sorry, I got carried away with it. My bad.
well, I mean, you're good, but you're also talking about dynasty draft and who
Yeah,
you pick and what. So, I mean, it's a good little discussion to have, even regardless if it's wide receivers or not,
yeah,
because it's all about what you would do with Travis Hunter.
that's
And
true.
and and all honestly, I wouldn't pick him with a 101. I probably
No,
would, and depending on what format I'm in and stuff, I wouldn't pick him at the 102 either. Like unless like that, if he's a super flex, I definitely wouldn't pick him at the 102 since you know Cam Ward is there. Um, but I could do 103 and between 103 and 105. That's a good that's a good sweet spot for him.
I agree. All right, so that covers our tier list for running back. If you guys like this content, don't forget to hit the like button and always subscribe. What do you always say?
Make sure you share because sharing is caring.
And before I leave, I want to remind you guys that TreVeyon Henderson is going to be in the top 10 over Omarion Hampton. Dawson's belief is Omarion Hampton and even RJ Harvey is going to be higher than TreVeyon
Okay,
Henderson.
I was joking about the RJ Harvey.
Oh,
I was serious about the Hampton thing.
okay. He's serious about the Hampton. RJ is going to be in the top 50 probably. So we'll see.
Well, I mean, he's basically the running back one for the Broncos, so that's not hard.
Not when Nick Chubb gets to the ring.
I doubt it.
I still have a little bit of faith in Audrick's esteem. I think he could still take the ring. He could still have that opportunity.
I mean, he had a little bit of opportunity last year, and it did not go so well.
True that. I can't argue. We'll see.